During this series we'll meet lots of very interesting and successful motorsport competitors. But if you've competed in the same sport for over 20 years and remained at the pinnacle of that sport, then you have to be worth talking to. So today we meet David Grace, one of Britain's most successful hill climbers. The rules are simple. Almost any car can enter, from a production Porsche to an ex-Formula One car. The drivers are timed between 2 points, one at the bottom of the hill and one at the top. Meet David Grace, hill climb racer.
I started 20 years ago in a very relatively cheap car, 50 quid I think the engine cost, and we spent about £500 on the chassis, and I've just been working at it. I was very successful in that, and we made it go quicker, and I sold it and got a better car, and slowly but surely you work yourself up to the ultimate hill climb car.
What is it about hill climbing that keeps you so fascinated?
I think, the opportunity to drive something like this. I mean, this is a 600 horsepower, 500 kilogram racing car. It would out-drag a Formula One car off the line at Silverstone easy. They'd catch us eventually. So there's the opportunity to do that, which would be very expensive to do if you went circuit racing. The other thing is, it's about me and my other competitors, but they don't T-bone me and knock me off into the first corner. If they beat me because they drive better than I do. I've won the Hill Climb Championship 4 times, and I'm going for my 5th this year, so I'm trying to win it for a 5th time. I held records at various hills, outright hill records at various hills in the country. I've won, I can't remember the number of actual runoffs I've won, but it must be in the 40s, something like that. You really get nervous before you race the car, and that's when you think, why aren't I at home mowing the lawn? But when you win, and you win with a record time, and you see the reaction of the crowd, and you know that you've done a really good job, that's what makes you do it. It's very, very disciplined, winning or losing by 100th of a second. We've learned, if you like, to be disciplined. You can't afford to run wide by 5 feet because you're in the bank. You can't let the tail flap all over the place. You can't run after your braking area. It's got to be really precise. The quick runs are the ones that look, well, it didn't look very fast. It was very smooth. And you look at the clock and it's all happened. Well, it has to be light, so it weighs 510 kilograms. I think a Formula One car fully loaded is over 600 kilograms, so it has to be light. It has relatively small brakes because you've got a steep slope you're going up, so Isaac Newton slows you down. You've only got 4 speeds. First gear today is 89 miles an hour. Second gear is 110. Third gear is 135. So you've only used those 3 gears. Little fuel tank in here, it's only 2-gallon fuel tank, that's all we need. No oil cooler, very small radiators, we've only got to keep it cool for 30 seconds. Huge sticky rear tyres, really grippy. It wouldn't last a lap of Brands Hatch or a lap of Silverstone, they'd be wiped out. And a very, very strong transmission. The crown wheel and pinion is huge because it takes so much force with these big sticky tyres. And a lot of wing, the other thing. You could come here with a road-going Caterham or a Mallock or a small second-hand racing car which you might buy for £3,000 or £4,000, put some decent tyres on it, do a few of the Midland rounds, and it wouldn't cost you perhaps more than £1,500, £2,000 a year to run them if you looked after it. At the other extreme, if you wanted to go and buy this car, it would cost you £70,000 or £80,000 minimum. The engine itself's worth between £25,000 and £30,000 if you could find one. And if you got somebody else to maintain it, then it would cost a lot of money. You'd probably be running a £30,000 a year budget, which isn't a lot when you think of what it costs to go circuit racing.
But in effect, that's a lot of money to spend as little time in the car as possible.
It is, but then why do people go and do 100 metres relay race or 100 metres sprint race or something like that as opposed to a marathon? Everybody has their own type of sport, and this is the one that seem to be quite good at doing.
Let's see David and his car in action. At the end of the day, let's find out whether the hill was cruel or kind to David and his times. Right, David, we just watched the morning's runoffs, and unfortunately it didn't all go according to plan.
No, not quite. A couple of tenths off from a win. That's what happens in hill climbing. You can lose or win by hundredths of a second, and had been raining earlier on, which had made the conditions a little bit iffy.
Does that? I mean, you must know this hill like the back of your hand. Do you think there's any way you can pick it up this afternoon?
Oh yeah, I mean we're starting again, if you like. The conditions are now drier than they were this morning, so it's like two separate race meetings, if you like.
Is that one of the attractions of the sport? It is so intense.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there are lots of attractions to the sport. That's one of them, really. I mean, you have to really wind yourself up, really concentrate hard for 30 seconds of intense concentration, and then you wind down again, and then you have another go. So we'll do it 4 times like that today.
Yeah, I mean, you must be amazingly focused into what it is you're doing.
I think that's very true, and maybe that's why you see some older guys in it, you know, a bit of grey hair here and there, because you need to be able to focus really, really hard and concentrate and just think what you're going to do. I go up the hill probably 10 times in my head before I actually go up it in the car.
Well, you've got another run coming up this afternoon, so we'll let you get back to it.
Okay, thanks very much.
Pretty good go ahead. 98 miles an hour at approach speed.
Well, in common with most of the people we interview for Mad and Maxx, you will have realised that David is a very nice guy. He's also totally focused and absolutely dedicated to his sport. And he also happens to be very, very good at it, which certainly helps. But I can't help wondering what it'd be like if you sat him on the start line at Santa Pod. Because if you're going to go from point A to point B as quickly as possible, surely the best place to do it is there. But somehow, I don't think he'd agree with me.